English settlement of the Middle Colonies began in 1664 when England captured the Dutch colony of New Netherland. The King of England gave this colony to his brother James, the Duke of York. James became the colony's proprietor. A proprietor is a person who owned and controlled all the land in the colony. As proprietor of New Netherland, James could do whatever he wanted with the land. He kept part of the large colony and changed its name to New York. He gave the rest to two of his friends. His friends divided the land into two colonies. The two colonies were named East Jersey and West Jersey. In 1702, the colonies joined to form one colony called New Jersey. The proprietors of New York and New Jersey all wanted to make money from their colonies. They decided to divide the fertile land of New York and New Jersey into smaller pieces and sell or rent the pieces to colonists to farm. Because proprietors lived in England, it was difficult for them to control their faraway property. Their solution was to pick governors in the colonies to rule them. Each governor chose a small group of people called a council to help them make important decisions. The proprietors also allowed colonists to elect representatives to an assembly. A representative is someone who is chosen to speak and act for others. The assembly helped the governor and council make laws, but it did not have too much power. Even so, this assembly was an important step towards self-government. The colony of Pennsylvania was the idea of William Penn. In England, Penn was a member of a religious group called the Society of Friends, or Quakers. Quakers believed that all Christians should be free to worship in their own way. Penn and many Quakers were put in jail for their beliefs. Some were even killed. In England, everyone was supposed to belong to the Church of England. Penn hoped to start a colony where all Christians could live together in peace. In North America, he thought, there might be a place for such a holy experiment. In 1681, Penn's wish for a colony where all Christians could worship freely came true. King Charles II had owed money to Penn's family. Instead of paying Penn's family back with money, the king repaid Penn by giving him a large piece of land in the Middle Colonies. The region was called Pennsylvania, which means Penn's Woods. The Duke of York later gave Penn even more land. For a time, this land was part of Pennsylvania, but later it became the colony of Delaware. In Pennsylvania, Penn created laws that allowed colonists to voice their opinions and worship freely. Penn also let colonists elect representatives to an assembly, just like they did in New York and New Jersey. But the Pennsylvania Assembly had much more power. It could approve or reject laws the governor and his council suggested. Penn treated Native Americans with respect. He tried to understand their culture, and he wanted colonists to live with them as equals. Penn made fair agreements with the Delaware Indians when he bought land from them, and his fairness helped Pennsylvania's colonists and Native Americans live together peacefully for years. William Penn also planned the colony's first large city, Philadelphia. For the location of Philadelphia, Penn chose a site where the Delaware River and the Schuylkill River meet. Ships bringing goods from other colonies and from Europe could land in the excellent harbor formed by these rivers. Penn designed wide, straight roads that made it easy to travel through the city. During the 1700s, Philadelphia became a center of trade. Soon, it was the largest city in all the colonies. Benjamin Franklin was Philadelphia's most famous citizen. He moved from Boston to Philadelphia in 1723. Franklin bought his own printing press when he came to Philadelphia. Franklin published a newspaper using his printing press and a popular book of stories, jokes, and sayings called Poor Richard's Almanac. One of his well-known sayings is, "Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise." Franklin had many other interests, too. He helped start Philadelphia's first public library, fire company, and hospital. He was also a talented scientist and inventor. In a famous experiment, he flew a kite in a lightning storm to show that lightning was a form of electricity. He invented a wood stove, a clock, and many other useful things. Franklin became famous for his many achievements.